think it really comes down to the fact that in a primary, I do think he's the most positioned to win when it comes down to the general election.
Check that date right there, November 15th, 2022. That was Abraham Enriquez, who was on my show nearly 2 years ago, the day former President Trump announced he was running for president again. Abraham joins us again now. He's the founder and president of Bienvenido US and a supporter of Donald Trump. And Abraham, we should tell the viewers what happened. I was on the convention floor yesterday, and you pulled me, and you said I was on your show, and I told you that Donald Trump was going to be the nominee again, and everybody said I was wrong. There was a whole panel, and there was a whole party that was looking for people like Governor Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley or Senator Tim Scott, but you were right. What do you think happened? Why do you think former President Trump and all these Republican voters came back to him?
Yeah, well, what a full circle moment to be here with you, Tom. And what happened? Well, I think the DC consulting class has lost touch with the millions of particularly Hispanic voters and realizing that President Trump hit a chord with Hispanic voters. And you and I both know that when you put a leader in front of the Hispanic community, they're very loyal to that leader. And so going into his re-election, or his announcement for his re-election campaign, I knew from the start that he had welcomed, given a big bienvenido to millions of new voters into the party. And they were going to let that go so easily. And we see that here today.
Are you frustrated that he didn't try to sort of expand the ticket, maybe expand the tent for the Republican Party with a pick like Senator Marco Rubio, who could go into Hispanic communities? He can go in Telemundo, Univision, speak directly to voters in their native languages. And he went with Senator J.D. Vance, who may be a junior version of Donald Trump.
Well, look, I think he actually did expand the ticket to reach Hispanic voters with J.D. Vance. Let me tell you why. We often forget that the average age of Hispanics in America are 29-year-old, meaning we're the youngest racial demographic in the country. J.D. Vance I think, will be the youngest vice president that we have in over 70 years. That and also 2/3 of Hispanics on the voter roll, Tom, are second and third generation Hispanics, meaning that we are assimilating to American culture better. English is our first language. Most of us have a college degree, and we care more about the issues, about the economic policies that are put into place, rather than be just lumped in on immigration talks like maybe my grandparents or parents did when they were coming into the party.
Democrats have historically always gained more Hispanic voters, always gotten a larger share of the Hispanic vote when it comes to presidential elections and really elections across the country, with the exception of some pockets like South Florida. I do want to ask you, what do you think is happening with President Biden and Hispanic voters? Because polling has shown that Donald Trump has been able to peel away some support.
It all comes down to policies, Tom. I mean, today's theme of the convention is make America safe again. Under President Biden, we've seen a 44% increase in crime from 2021 to 2022. He has been over two of the most murderous years, 2 out of 3 of the most murderous years that we've seen in the last quarter century. When crime and safety are on the top 3 issues that Hispanics care about, they're going to start looking at how they live their life under the Trump administration, and maybe are able to divorce the candidate from the party and select the candidate that's going to make this country safe again.
President Biden has made some inroads, though. And it's really, when you say crime, you could also talk about states individually and governors. But the FBI has come out with a report saying that crime is down in major big cities. And then when it comes to immigration, there have been some inroads made with Mexico. There's now interdictions in the southern part of that country, I should say. In Panama, they're adding razor wire to the Darien Gap. It's not a perfect fix or solution, but it's helping bring numbers down. My question to you is, those issues affect Hispanics. They're important to them just because, they're important to all Americans. But is it too late? Has it been 3 years where the numbers weren't in President Biden's favor, and now that they may be sort of trending in that direction, it's too late?
It's not really just too late. I think President Biden has relied on out-of-touch Hollywood elites to get out the vote for Hispanic voters. The fact that his main surrogate, Eva Longoria, couldn't even make it to one of his rallies. And on the flip side, let's talk about President Trump and what he's done with Hispanic outreach.
That's an important point. You're saying they're not organizing enough when it comes to Hispanics?
Not nearly enough. Are you kidding me? I think that they've just banked this idea that because we're Hispanic, we're going to immediately tie to a party. When you and I both know that Hispanics, we're not loyal to a party, not even to a candidate. We're loyal to values, and those are consistently talking about those values and have shown support with the community are going to do great. I had the honor of organizing a stop at a cafecito shop in Miami with President Trump, where he had hundreds of Hispanics talking about the policies that benefited to them when they met him. We could talk about his stop in a bodega in the Bronx in New York. We can talk about his rally that he had in a heavily Hispanic neighborhood in Las Vegas. And we could talk about when he came to my home state of Texas, when he rolled up his sleeves and served the Border Patrol agents, which are majority Hispanic. Hispanic. President Trump doesn't wait for the community to go to him. He goes to the community and shares the policies that are going to benefit Hispanics and all Americans in general.
Speaking of your home state of Texas, that's where I saw you in the delegation there yesterday. Senator Ted Cruz is going to speak tonight. He had a very different convention in 2016 when he came out and he said, vote your conscience. He's not going to say that now. He's on better terms with former President Trump. But he doesn't have a complete lock in that race. Do you think he wins the state of Texas?
Absolutely, yeah. You look at polling, he's doing pretty great. I think it just comes down to the fact that Texas has been leading in a lot of different areas, whether it's the economy.
But Democrats have made inroads there, and they have made with candidates that have attracted attention, and at times still a red state. I'm not saying it's a purple state like some have tried to claim, but the Democrats have made inroads. Should Republicans there be worried?
100%. They should. Every candidate, every campaign should be worried, especially because of the fact that Texas is now majority Hispanic, meaning sooner or later we're going to be the majority on the voting rolls in Texas. So if you don't start outreaching to our community today, you will lose Texas tomorrow. And I think having Senator Cruz understand that, visiting Hispanic churches, visiting Hispanic business leaders, and emphasizing more policies and what he's done to safeguard business and the economy in Texas is really going to help him in this election cycle.
Abraham Enriquez, you called it 2 years ago on Top Story Live. Brought you back. Great to hear from you again. We appreciate it. We're going to have much more tonight from Milwaukee. Still ahead.